कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोधनंदन जय ब्रज जन रंजन जय ब्रज जन रंजन जय यमुनतिरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुनतिरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राघव जय कुंज बिहारी जय श्री राधा माधव जय श्री श्रीमद भागवतम जय श्री श्रील गुरुदेव कोटि टैगोर ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपादकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पांचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं श्री परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्यमीश्वरम् नमो विष्णुपादाय विष्णुपृष्ठाय श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी Krishna Prabhu, Samataji, standard pranam. Sorry for the big gap. We started it off some weeks ago, and I got stuck in some travel and other things. So, and I'm sorry. Sadashi Prabhu was also trying to get me to do the next sessions. Unfortunately, couldn't do. But finally, Krishna chose to have in its own time. So this particular chapter, we have discussed one particular verse only last time, I think, and then we had to proceed further on especially on the how the Virat Rupa is manifesting himself, and what are the particular features or specific characteristics, and we have to see 2 points. One is the purpose, and the The other thing is the reason why he's doing that. Purpose of us trying to know this entire creation thing. So there are a few interesting things that comes out. That forms the crux of uh, this entire chapter. Why suddenly Parishit Maharaj is asking the questions about creation? He knows that he has to die in few days, and he could have easily said, "Please, tell me the leelas, the Krishna's leelas, and I want to just remember Krishna and leave this body." But the important thing that which we have to know here is not only here, but even in the fifth canto, where the structure of the material universe and of different planetary systems, etc., were all explained, and with the distance details and the size and all those kind of things. Even we sometimes get bored with all things. Sometimes we feel, but oh, why should we discuss all these things or hear all these things? Do you really think these are needed? But then Parishit Maharaj never questioned such things. In fact, he was more than happy to hear all this the parts, specifically the structure, the creation structure, and all the secondary creation, etc., the annihilation, all kinds of things. The reason, both in this chapter also, Kapil Muni tells this point at the beginning of the chapter, and in the fifth canto and a few other places also, Parishit Maharaj refers to it, is that the reason we have to study these things more carefully is because we have to first of all understand that we are the material modes, and then secondly we have to try to get rid of the material modes. And by studying these chapters, the first and foremost thing that happens is that we are out of the material modes. We come out of the material modes. One may question how it is possible for us to come out of the material modes by studying about the material modes, because this is all about the creation of the three modes, then the times interaction, then the various different the different types of varieties of creations, right? So this question is very nicely answered by Prabhupada in some places, that see, if we look into the anatomy, always if we study about the anatomy of a particular item, then we will not have attraction to that item, or we will know everything we know threadbare about it, if not everything, most of the things. Then we will not be so much worried about or fear afraid of it, or too much worried about what will happen if you are there, etc. Like say, if I'm in a home, my place in my home, I know what are the things are there, where the rooms are, what things are in which room, where is my power thing, where is my water supply, where is the switch for the motor to fill up the water, and if the power goes off, where I should go and check. All those kinds of I know by being there. So and by being there and by understanding these things, I don't have any fear when I am coming here. Whereas if I go to some place first time and I don't know where things are, so I am dependent on somebody. When I am dependent on that somebody, then I am more worried if that person is not there, what will happen to me. So there is a lot of that Vinadainyana Jeevanam is lost. We are always dependent on that person. And so that problem is solved when we are aware of everything that is there. That is one point. And the second nice thing that that the doctors or the what do you call this? Those people who are working in the mortuary or at the hospitals and all, day in and day out, they only see dead bodies, or some bodies with disease, or some bodies are going to go, etc. So you will see that they will not be entangled or disturbed by, say, the people coming in and going out, isn't it? They will be so much used to the seeing so much dead bodies or so much of this thing that the deceased bodies that it's like any other thing for them. One more has come, so let's just put this in the mortuary and then take it. So they develop a sense of detachment and a sense of, I would rather use this word callousness also, callous. So when thick-skinned in one sense. So that is very much important in this world. For us to survive in this world without being disturbed, it is very important to develop a thick skin towards whatever that comes up from the Adibodhika, Adidevika, Adhyatmika, and all these things. Like the thick skin, like buffaloes used to have thick skin. They have the thick skin, right? So you see that when they are going on the street, neither for the heat they try to find a shade, nor when it rains, it runs away. It just stands there and enjoys the rain, right? So we can't do that because we haven't developed that thick skin towards the Adityaivika miseries. Sometimes it is very important to develop that because somebody says somebody not listening to me, I get disturbed. These kind of things will keep coming. This is all an imposition upon us by the material energy. So when we develop a interest, or when we start getting into the depth of how this material world energy functions, how it interacts, how it is creating new things, all these kind of things, when we are kind of threadbare, we analyze, then naturally the detachment starts developing. And that is what towards the end of this chapter, that last sloka is very important, that through devotion, detachment and advancement in spiritual knowledge acquired through concentrated devotional service, one should contemplate that super soul is present in this very body, although simultaneously apart from it. So this is the last verse of this chapter, and this chapter, these last two verses of this chapter define the purpose of this, the entire essence of this chapter, and we will get to that. So the first thing is that we, by understanding the material modes, we come out of the three modes. How we come out of the three modes? By when we understand its functioning, the reality and the way it functions, we know this is how our passionate mode will function. So when we understand that, okay, the passionate people will be like, I like this, like this, like this, and somebody is behaving in a certain way, they said, oh, he's a passionate person. Okay, let's forget about it. You behave like that. So this is how even though this material nature is inert, it functions, it appears as if it is functioning, and that is also because of the presence of the super soul. The Supreme Lord in the form of the super soul is entering into each and every item, every single atom, and that is why you can see this variegatedness, the movement, the dynamic nature, etc., etc., which by itself the material nature does not have, but by the presence of the super soul and its presence in the form of time, etc., that it appears to be live, right? So what does it mean again? The point that we have to understand here is that unless and until the super soul, Krishna, shows his mercy by entering into the item, that all these entities, objects, nothing will function. Everything is completely dependent on the Lord. And detachment we obtain by understanding the reality of the material nature. Devotion we obtain by understanding the unmotivated love that Krishna has for all the living entities. Because even though we don't want it, Krishna comes and enlivens, enters and brings life into every single item of this earth. And that is the most important point, the concluding lesson of this chapter. Because unless we realize that everything in this world is functioning because of the presence of the super soul, the Paramatma, we will not see Krishna everywhere. I suppose I am seeing the wall here and I see that standing because of Krishna's mercy. Krishna is present in every single atom of this wall. And so then I will appreciate his mercy, just like we have the 15 places to see Krishna, right? We have the Rasoham, Supamtaya, Prabhas, Misha, Shishudev, all those things, every single thing in which we are completely dependent on day in and day out. If we see Krishna as the inherent force behind all this manifestation, then we will appreciate his mercy even more. Even though we are not showing any interest, but still Krishna is taking care of us. He is caring for us at every moment in the form of all this in the supporting material and everything. Wherever we go, somehow or other we are getting water, which is the very essence of our life. Without that, we cannot be alive. We cannot live even one moment. And air, wherever we go, we get the air. And so, by understanding how Krishna has created all these things, one side we develop detachment, the second side we are really appreciative and very grateful for the Lord for how He is creating all these things so immaculately and effortlessly. These two things are very important. Krishna creates all these things very immaculately and very effortlessly. So this is the crux of this entire chapter. We'll get into the details as we go along. Right? But I just thought, I just prepared one small little. I haven't completed it yet, but I just prepared one small little pictorial representation of this chapter so far. I have gone halfway through. The rest of the things I have to do. Maybe next week we'll cover the rest of the things. So let's first discuss these few pictorial representation, and that will give us a better idea of how things work. And then we will go into say a couple of important verses where Krishna, where Kapil Muni is bringing out some very important points, and Srila Prabhupada has given wonderful purports there. Let me. Oh, you have given me course right now, so let me try to share this thing. Hope you are able to see my screen now.
Yes, Prabhu, we are able to see.
Okay. So this is the beginning how Kapil Muni explains the whole thing about Pradhana and how it is in the unmanifest form, and then it becomes manifest in the form of Prakriti or Mahat, right? So first, yeah, you see this. This whole thing is a pictorial representation of the Pradhana. First, we have the 5 gross elements: earth, water, fire. You know everything. I'm just putting it in a pictorial form. The second thing is the subtle elements, the Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandhana, the taste, the sound, touch, form, taste, and fragrance. So these, the source of the earth, water, fire, air, and ether is these 5, the subtle elements. The subtle elements are the source of the gross elements creation. Then we have the Pancha Jnanendriyas. They are again the senses, basically, 5 knowledge acquiring senses. They are again connected in the same way. The auditory sense is connected with the Shabda, and it is the source. It is connected with the ether, sky, and the touch, tactile sense, that is connected with the air. So this is how they are all created. And same way the sight, eyesight, that is connected with the fire. And then the taste, the rasa, the taste, the tongue, the taste, different tastes like sweet, sour, etc. They all, the sense of taste, it is connected with the rasa and water. Smell again connected with the fragrance, gandha, punyo gandha pratibhyamscha, Krishna says, no? And that way it is connected with And then the next karma indriyas, these 5 are there. We know evacuating, generating, traveling, working, speaking. For traveling, we need the legs. For working, we need the hands. For speaking, we need the uh, tongue, the mouth, etc. And so on. So these forms the total 20. And then apart from this, there are all these are just there in the beginning of the 26th chapter. I'm just putting them in the tutorial. Then apart from these 20 are the 4 subtle senses, which are the mind, intelligence, ego, and contaminated consciousness. The consciousness, when it is contaminated, that forms a separate entity. So these 24 items total. But all these 24 items are inert in pradhana. No, they inert in this unmanifest. No, and when time acts upon Krishna as time, which time is not a separate time. Time is Krishna's energy, Krishna's expansion. So only when the time comes and agitates these 24 elements, which are together in whatever way you want to call it, as it's all mixed together kind of. So then they all start getting manifest. So Krishna has already, as time, is bringing the life into this whole thing, making it manifest, right? So this is the whole picture of pradhana. Now, pradhana to mahatattva or prakriti. Prakriti, mahatattva, both are similar. I mean, they are used interchangeably. So that which is manifest is called mahatattva, prakriti. So the unmanifest to manifest state, how it happens? We have these things. The unmanifest material energy is pradhana, and manifested material energy is prakriti, mahatattva. Now, how does this transformation happen? This is also given very nicely in the same chapter, how it works. First, time element acts, the next is karma, the next is super soul. Karma is the destiny, the destination of the souls, it is said. I termed it as karma because that is what karma is, what gets transformed into destiny. So the time we saw in the previous thing, the slide, we saw that how time acts upon each and every element and agitates and brings about the manifestation. And super soul, of course, has to act on. He is also present in order to activate the entire thing. And the karma decides the destiny of the material, the destiny of the different souls decides the manifestation of mahatattva in a certain way. Like, it's not that the mahatattva is created once and not done. Not like that. Mahatattva is created constantly and continuously. Even now, some place mahatattva creation is going on. Like, say, some places the forests, the trees are growing. Some places they are getting cut. Some places river is flowing. Some places it's stopped. Some places the mountains are destroyed. Some places they are some stones are getting thrown. I think some places wells are dug and water is coming. So all these transformational things, they are all continuously happening, and that happens because of the presence of these 3 items constantly and dynamically. The unmanifesting becomes manifest. You see, very simple thing. Now, this class got manifested about half an hour ago. Before that, this class was not there. So that also we can call it as a pradhana. It's not only the objects. Any events that is happening, that is also in unmanifest state, it is pradhana. But when the time, super soul, and all our karma acts together, then it manifests as prakriti. In the sense, prakriti does not even material thing. In anything that is active, material in the sense, yes, it is material because it has to end at some point, definitely. But because it is also Krishna's energy. There is nothing to be. It's nothing inferior in that sense. No, for Krishna, for devotees of Krishna, everything is transcendent. So, any questions, comments so far till now?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, here when you say super soul, actually, is it the glance of Mahavishnu?
Glance of Krishna, glance of Mahavishnu creates this. That is what is converted into time, Prabhu. But the super soul is entering into each and every item, every object. he enters into every atom. That is, as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he enters it. In the purport, Prabhupada says that.
Okay.
So, yes, sorry.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So
Yes,
you
Mataji.
told Mahatattva is being created throughout. Karke. How is that, Prabhuji?
All the time. No, Mahatattva, in other words, it is like Mahatattva is there in the manifest form. But in a time, it's like, if I have to say, like there's a creation is there, but constantly some creations keep happening. No, the secondary creation, subsidiary creation, whatever we call it.
Yeah, but
So,
Mahatattva is only one, na?
yes, but within Mahatattva, creations will keep happening.
Yeah,
That's
that
what I meant. Not that
Karana ocean is there. In
I'm
that,
not telling that.
Mahavishnu will create. So,
Yeah. I'm not telling that Mahatattva will get continuously created.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to
Within
clear.
Mahatattva, the constantly creation annihilation thing keeps happening.
Yes.
That is what is Prakriti. Because the reason I mentioned that was because Mataji, the karma
Changes
continuously, it is continuous process. It is not
Yes.
like one single karma, because it is destiny of the souls are also an important reason, an important ingredient for the creation of the Mahatattva. Because for Krishna to develop this world, he needs some souls to come and exhibit their karmas and do whatever they want, right?
Okay, Prabhuji.
So that is where I meant that there's a constant creation, maintenance, and annihilation keeps happening within the Mahatattva. In the beginning, when he creates, he brings in certain souls. That is karma. But then continuously it is happening.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So, I mean, this is whatever Prabhupada said, just my understanding. So you please go through the purports and see if there is any mistake. You please let me know. I can correct it.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, this karma also means you are talking about qualities of material nature?
Prabhu, I'm getting what is that, Prabhu? Some noise was there. What is that?
Yeah, when there is a time, super soul and karma, karma means here, are you saying it is the qualities of material nature?
No, karma is a destiny of the souls, each soul.
Destiny of the soul only, okay.
Yeah, the destination of the souls, I will tell you the verse where it is mentioned, Prabhu. In the beginning, it said, where is the destination? Yeah, verse number 19. You see, if you read the translation, Prabhu, after the Supreme Personality of Godhead impregnates material nature with its internal potency. See, this is a very interesting thing. Even the material nature with its internal potency. So the material nature becomes active only by the impregnation of the internal potency. Krishna's Yogamaya, internal potency, it becomes active. So material nature delivers the sum total of the cosmic intelligence, which is known as Hiranmaya. This takes place in material nature when she is agitated by the destinations of the conditions. You read that, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes. This take place in material nature when she is agitated by destination of conditioned soul.
Yeah, so what is the destination? The conditioned souls will have certain karma. So that karma has to be manifested and they have to go through that cycle. So when the right time comes, Krishna creates this.
Okay.
So that's how I derived this thing, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu.
Because without karma, why is he going to? He is not going to put karma in our each one of us and say now I'm putting some karma in you. You go and suffer in this world. He will not do that. It's our own thing, whatever.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
After annihilation occurs, then everything enters into the
Yes.
Garbhodakshaya ocean. When again
Yes.
it is created, Prabhuji. So
Yes.
will it be on the same
Process.
No, not process, Prabhuji. Suppose I am a human being now and annihilation occurred. Now, suppose it is the Brahma's end. Today is the last day of Brahma, or last moment. Then when next it is created, so what will be the my state again?
Whichever form we have to take, whichever form at that time we have to take, we'll have to take. So if I have to take a goat's body, I will take the goat's body. If some goat has to take a human body, it will take the human body. Everybody's karma is different, no?
Okay.
So many souls are there. We don't realize. It's not only this particular earth we are talking about. It is here is talking about the creation of the entire material. So different planets, different types of living entities. To talk about the Indraloka, Chandraloka, the Gandharva Loka, all of them, everybody is living in. So they all have to. Everybody's karma thing is being done. It's being how should I say? Calculated, accounted for, and we cannot cheat him even for one small karma. For even the tiniest karma, you have some reactions for it, and the consolidated effect of that is what we will be getting. It is a destination of this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji, again, Sudashiv.
No, go ahead, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, this
Questions help me also.
you said there are three green and I mean I'm just telling the colors, but the karma, super soul, and time element. In this flow, is it that karma and super soul and time element are inside pradhana and that from the beginning, or that
No.
or the time is
No, they are not inside pradhana.
Okay.
Pradhana is separate. Super soul, time, and
Okay.
see, time and super soul are manifestation of Krishna, are expansions of Krishna.
Yes.
Karma is our.
And karma is
ours.
But
Each one of us, our account.
so I believe karma should be inside the pradhana, no? Because karma
No.
is gone into all the yeah.
No, karma, Krishna keeps it separate. It's like your bank account is somewhere we don't know.
Okay.
Karma is
Okay.
like bank account, where it is.
I
we
always
don't know.
believe. So just like Mataji just asked one question now, when during annihilation, whatever karma I have accumulated, I go back into the abdomen
Krishna.
of Mahavishnu,
Along with
Krishna.
the account is in dormant state, Prabhu. Like you leave Abu Dhabi and you go somewhere for 10 years, account will be in dormant state. No?
I think you have cleared two very specific things which actually I was not knowing. I thought karma goes inside pradhana, and when creation happens, the karma get manifest along with the living entity, and they get the body according to their karma. But
No. Karma is an account.
Okay.
It is always kept separately. It's a virtual. What do you call it? Where it is, we don't know what it is there. Prabhu, at the end of the day, karma is not a tangible object, right, Prabhu? It is just an account. Like, say, okay, you have this much karma in your thing. You have 4 goats body to take, 5 cockroach body to take, 10 saintly body to take. So it's just a number, right? Like how.
No, but we have been hearing always that nothing goes with us, only karma goes with us. So I was thinking that karma goes always with the living entity.
Karma goes.
Stays in the abdomen and comes back.
Karma goes with us means it's an account that is going with us.
Yeah.
So it's an account that is going with us, but it is not a tangible thing like say a chair, table, etc. It's an account, right? You purchase something from Amazon or whatever, and they send you the object, right? You transfer some amount from your bank to here. Did you transfer? Did they show you some tangible touch of the rupees, etc.? And then you entered some number, and the number just went through. They took some number and went through. It is completely virtual, isn't it? Where that money was, we don't know. The bank, whether it had your money in a tangible form, we don't know. It just keeps somewhere else, and from the thing to there, it just transfers, isn't it? So that's why Maharaj always used to say this point, right? Maharaj always used to say this point, right? If all the account holders go to the bank on the same day and ask for money, the bank will not have money to give. Isn't it?
Correct. And second thing is this time element. You just said that it is same as the glance of the Lord. This also I never thought that way. Is it?
It is. Sa ikshate. It is said in the Puranas. It is called sa ikshate, means when Krishna sees this comes, and Maharaj says this in the in Ambarish Maharaj's thing also. He talked about this Sudarshana Chakra, the prayers of the Sudarshana Chakra. No. Prabhupada translated that word Sudarshana as original vision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when Maharaj was giving the initiated name to Sudarshana, he explained this point very nicely. He said that the vision of the Lord is actually called Su means auspicious, Darshana means vision, right? Auspicious vision of the Lord. So that auspicious vision of the Lord, when it is glance, when the glance is touching that object, and that glance gets converted into time, and that time is what agitates the pradhana, the unmanifest form, and brings out all the manifestation. So that is why the vision of the Lord is what creates everything. And in fact, even in 10th canto, 10, 13, 50, I think, there are two things that is mentioned. One is Swakartana, that is the vision of the Lord, the glance of the Lord inspires, creates the inspiration in us for seva, and the smile of the Lord protects us from all calamities, challenges, etc. You see, so the glance of the Lord, is what is the vision which gets converted into time. So the time is what is inspiring us to do certain things. Like we may have different things in our mind, but for that thing to be created or manifested, time has to act on each and every single element in this one. So that is
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
both shastrically it is supported, and common sensically also we can see that we always say this, right? For everything we need, we see there is a time. There is a time for everything to happen.
Prabhuji, is it 10:30 or 13, Prabhu?
10, 1, 3, 50. 10.13.50.
50.
In that one paragraph is there where it is very nicely explained in the purport that see.
50.
In many places we can see the common point expressed so very nicely about the how powerful is the Lord's glance. That is why we are always supposed to meditate on the Lord's glance and smile. Yes, I think I have to. Control.
They glanced upon their devotees, embracing them and protecting them.
Yes, Prabhu, just 1 second. Here again. Yeah, the purport is very nice. Yeah. See here. Yeah. The word Swakartanam refers to great desires. As mentioned in the verse, the glance of Lord Vishnu creates the desires of the devotees. Basically, the glance creates it by his glance. He creates a desires. What is that he's doing for the? Where is that? Is it this verse or previous verse? He nicely would have given the two things.
No, the Lord's sidelong glances create. Where I get it? Sorry, it was there.
1 minute. I remember it very much. How it creates. Yeah, this is the thing. They glance upon devotees, embracing them and protecting them by smiling. Right? So by their glance, they create the desires in the hearts of the devotees, and by their smile, they protect the desires of the devotees. This is the essence here. Here the Lord Satan does create variegated desires in relation to Krishna and his devotional service. No? So basically, in the material world, desire is a product of tamoguna, but in the spiritual world, it is gives rise to everlasting transcendental service. So thus the word Swakatanam refers to eagerness to serve Krishna. So it depends on, say, there are so many devotees, like all the different the responsible persons like Indra, Chandra, everybody, they all have a desire to please Krishna. So Krishna is fulfilling all their desires also, and each one of us, that is for the devotees. For non-devotees, through passion, he is creating the same thing. Again, without Krishna's this thing, nobody can nobody can do any creation or maintenance or this inspiration. This thing can't happen. So that is why super soul and time. Krishna is the form of super soul and time. He is acting to manifest the unmanifested material.
Prabhuji, where is the soul now here?
Soul is inside Krishna, and he is having his karma account with him. So when the pradhana, you see, Prabhu, if you see this, what is the previous thing? You see, there is no soul here, isn't it? In these 24 items, do you see soul anywhere?
There is no soul.
Yeah, ego, intelligence, these are subtle these things. But soul is not there. Soul is in Krishna. But wherever I go, suppose you come to India also, your account stays in Abu Dhabi. Or you go to America, everywhere you go, wherever you have the account, that account will be still there in Abu Dhabi. In India or Abu Dhabi, whatever, isn't it? So
Okay,
that
Prabhuji.
way, these things, the material elements are in Pradhana, but the soul is always there with Krishna. So wherever you may be, but the account is still active. So if some
But
fine
this
is there,
Bhagavatam, Prabhuji, in the initial Bhagavatam verses in the same chapter says Krishna impregnates living entities with the material energy, no?
where does it say, Prabhu? In the beginning, where does it say impregnates living entities with material energy?
Yeah, that's impregnates.
Can you tell me exactly which sloka is this? He never says he impregnates material, living entity with material energy. Impregnates the pradhana with this thing, you might say. Which I think you are referring to this one statement. After the super soul impregnates, after the supreme personality of God impregnates the material nature with this internal potency. That's what probably you are referring to. It's not living entity. Krishna does not impregnate the living entity with anything. He impregnates this material the Prakriti with his internal potency for it to be active. And then he puts all the conditioned souls, the Jivatma, who are also living because we are part and parcel of Krishna. But with us, there's all these associated paraphernalia, karma, mind, intelligence, ego, etc. And with these three things, with the material modes, we are working on the material elements. Like in Bhagavad Gita also it is said, no, the living entities exploit the material nature. Some verse, I don't remember which verse exactly it is. That was exploit the material.
Prabhuji, in ninth chapter, Hare Krishna. Yeah, in
Yes,
ninth
Prabhuji.
chapter, 7th verse, it is said, Prabhupada says, as far as living entities are concerned, they are impregnated into this material nature as a result of their past deeds and they take different positions.
Exactly. So that is proved here. Sarvabhutani kaunte prakriti myanti mamita kalpakshaya punastani kalpa adav visrajamyaham. Again, when the kalpa is over, I create again. So the living entities, as you rightly said this, Mataji, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning they are created. So in the purport, I think Prabhupada is telling this now.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, when there is a need to manifest the cosmic world, it is done by his will. That is why super soul is there. In this, where is that? In this picture. Does it help, Prabhu?
So, Prabhuji, sorry, I am still not clear where is the soul now. All we have explained all 24 elements. We have explained everything, unmanifested and manifesting with the Lord's time, super soul, and karma. He enters as a super soul. He enters super soul in each and every element with a time element, all understood. But soul, I am lost at soul now. Where is the living entities now in this
Living
soul
entities,
particularly?
Prabhu, the place is there. Living entities are still coming. You are still there. They took the flight, but you have still not reached Abu Dhabi. You are still there. You have to pass through the immigration, everything, and then reach home. The living entities are there with Krishna, Prabhu. Place
With
has to be
Krishna.
ready, na. Place has to be ready, but then they can come. So we are put after once its Prakriti is ready, we are all
Okay.
put inside. It's all coming. So we just right now only the place is getting ready.
You mean
Yeah,
that
okay.
the living entities are impregnated at the stage of Visarga, Prabhu, not Sarga? Is it what you are trying to say?
No, some living entities may be created. Like say Brahma was there in the beginning, nothing else was there. He is a living entity. His karma was that he had to come in the beginning. So according to our karma, we are born between say 1960s, 70s, whatever, and then we will go by 29, 20, 20, 30, whatever. Some other living entity will come at 20, 50 and then live till 2200. No? So according to our karma, we will get manifested at different time in this entire time span. So Brahma's karma is such that he had to come to the beginning and stay till the end.
Yes.
Right? Like Bhishma Dev's karma was that he had to come from the beginning to the end. All others came in between and went away. So different living entities have their time span based on the karma.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, this now this Mahatattva is due to Mahatattva, this Russia and Ukraine war is happening. Can I assume like this?
Mahatattva. Why Mahatattva has to? Mahatattva is not an active thing. Mahatattva is it's just like a vessel. It doesn't have an active reason. It doesn't create any karma for itself. The karma are created by the souls, the jivatmas. And it is because of the jivatmas that this whole thing is happening. And because of the jivatmas, it is happening at this particular time. This is supposed to happen. That is the result of the karma. That the account that karma is mature. We say when they put the investment. So some people have done this karma. Maybe somebody agitated Putin. We don't know who did that karma. Or Putin has the karma which he is also acting on it. So this is karma of the souls. It's otherwise this war cannot happen without two people's ego. No? It's nothing but just a manifestation of two crazy souls' ego. Two or more I mean to say. The ego is nothing but a result of their karma. Yes,
but due to that, a lot of people are.
Their karma is to suffer. Their karma is to suffer. I'm getting some noise, Prabhu. Who is that? Prabhu, don't consider anybody as innocent. We have not. We did do anything. Why are they suffering? No. This is all our karma package. If we might be looking very innocent now, but our past karma, we had done something for which we are suffering. Otherwise, what stopped Krishna from putting you and me in Ukraine? Why are we here peacefully sitting and listening? Why are the people there going through the difficulty, maybe, or in Russia, whatever? Because their karma was that they had to be there at that particular time. Why one day few people had to be in that plane which went and crashed into the building? Or why only certain people have to be there when the earthquake happens? Or a tsunami happens? Happen and whatever has to end, that is all accounted for. Nothing we can. You get me, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
It's just the mode of our death and mode of our creation are different. That's all. But the whole thing will be the same.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dharan Pranam.
Pranam, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, here Srinivas Prabhuji.
Yes,
Prabhuji, a lot of concepts got clear today. But one thing very curious for me, how the soul travels from Krishna to this womb of a mother. How it is placed.
That is there in third canto, 31st chapter. You have to go through that 30th and 31st chapter. If you study, that thing will come.
Okay. I had not come to the third chapter. Can you explain, Prabhuji?
Prabhu, one thing is that we have to understand one thing. Soul is spiritual. It's not material. Right? So spiritual thing has a spiritual way of traveling, not material way of traveling.
Yeah.
So it doesn't should take even a moment for the soul to come from Krishna to material world. If Krishna wants, he will just take us and put it right there in the womb. That's all. So we should not see the spiritual entities through material medium. Get what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
if I have
Prabhuji.
to travel to Rajkot or Delhi, then I have to travel by train, flight. It will take time for me because his body is there. Whereas if I go in a spiritual form, I don't have to worry about traveling through train or bus or flight or whatever. Right? The moment instantly, see, mind itself is so powerful. It without its existence, factual existence, within moment if I think of Abu Dhabi, I'm there in Abu Dhabi. If I think of America, I'm there in America. So soul must be even more subtle than that, isn't it? It is
Yes,
actually
Prabhuji.
spiritual, isn't it? Material mind is still material. Even material has so much capacity, then spiritual, how much capacity it will have. So it doesn't really take much time to instantly it can be taken and put in by Krishna's arrangement.
However, but Prabhuji, I have some contrary, like when the body leaves the, when the soul leaves the body, it travels to the Yamaloka and all these things. This process is
Yeah, that
explained
is
in Garuda Purana somewhere else. Somewhere else, it
correct.
takes time, one year time to reach there. Is said like that.
Correct, because of the karma. If because of the karma,
No, we still have karma while taking birth also. So there should be time lapse.
Yeah, it may be. That is
Because
what. No,
because
Prabhu,
pure soul cannot come into the mother's womb. It has to have a settled body. So settled body is
yes,
a material. So material travels needs a time lapse.
yeah, you were talking about soul coming to the womb, right? When it enters
Yes,
into the.
Prabhuji. In both
Prabhu, can
ways.
you let
In
me
both ways.
explain, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Can you let me explain, Prabhu? Uh, the the soul coming up to the point of connecting with the subtle body and the gross body, it doesn't have any encumbrances. Only when it is enters into the subtle body and gets a gross body, the thing about time and slowly then it starts growing in the womb from it takes 9-10 months to come out and all those things happen. You get what I'm saying? When a material process is involved, it takes the material time. That's a specific time materially. But when the spiritual entity is completely spiritual, then it doesn't really need a material thing to work. You get me, Prabhu?
Prabhuji, I have doubt here. Then when the pure spirit cannot come, it has to have a settled body
Prabhu, I
to
think
travel.
what we should do is we should study 30th and 31st chapter more in detail and then we'll discuss, Prabhu. Huh? When the
31,
next chapter,
3 point,
30 and
30
31,
chapter, bro.
these two chapters. 30th is for the death, 31st is for the birth. These two chapters you study in detail and then we will discuss the doubts, Prabhu. Okay?
Okay.
The only
30
reason
and
is,
31.
we are the time also is of essence. I just don't want to be held on one particular question itself. There are more questions that devotees are asking, which is good. So, very nice. Thank you for the question, though, Prabhu.
Okay,
It's a very tricky question. In the sense, very involved question, but we need some little time to explain that because we are in the material body. If I had to, talk from my spirit soul to your spirit soul, it won't take much time because we have all the mind, intelligence, everything in between. No, it takes time. So sorry. Any other questions? Okay, so let's move on to one more important thing. Now, Mahatattva, how it is creating, this is also we need to understand. No? Now, Mahatattva, this is again, this is in the, which verse is that? Yeah, it springs from, this material ego. This is the verse number 23, 24. You see that Mahatattva now springs now this into goodness, passion, interest. It releases the material ego. This is again because of the agitation of the time element and super soul and all these things this Mahatattva creates. This is material ego. Now this is manifested in the form of material ingredients. This is where the mind, perceiving senses, acting organs, and all the gross elements which we talked about in the pradhana. No? In the pradhana, they are all there, but they are all unidentified. Like maybe you can imagine it like a homogeneous mixture. You can't identify separately like the sabda, sparsha, like that and all. But when the agitation into Mahatattva Prakriti happens, by the influence of the material ego, these material ingredients all created. Each one of them are created. This is also explained nicely in this chapter. Now, how, for example, this false ego transforms into mind. We saw that false ego transforms into different items. No, how it transforms into mind. Before that, we see these three things are very nicely given. When the false ego in the mode of goodness, when the mode of goodness acts upon the false ego, it keeps a serene mood is there. When the passion acts, it becomes more active. And when the ignorance mode acts on false ego, by the false ego, it experiences as a dull mode. So this is the one thing that is nicely explained about how the false ego transforms through the influence of the three modes. Now again, one other thing about the mind. How the mind is formed when the false ego in the mode of goodness, it acts on the goodness acts upon the false ego, then it creates mind. And the mind is its characteristics are experienced by desire, which manifest by the form of thoughts, feelings, will-being, etc. This is the basic way in which mind functions. Mind is created from the false ego. Everything is created from the false ego. The subtle elements, everything. Now let's see how the intelligence is created. Same from false ego, but intelligence is created from the passion. Okay. So what happens? Intelligence created from the passion, and its functions are two things. One is the nature of the objects. We always like to ascertain the nature of the objects, and then it helps the senses to experience the pleasure, pain, whatever. Right? Helping the senses. These two things are considered the functionality of the intelligence. And then, what are the characteristics by which you can appreciate or understand the intelligence? Doubt, suppression, correct apprehension, memory, and speak. These are the 5 characteristics by which you can identify the presence of intelligence. Otherwise, intelligence, where it is, we don't. So there are 2 more things. By passion only, false ego creates the jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. So this is the way from the false ego through goodness, mind is created. Through the passion, intelligence, jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. Does it help?
Can you show earlier slide for 3 seconds?
Earlier slide. There are some more points to be mentioned here. I mean, for this itself, I was sitting till 2 o'clock at night, so I will have to spend a little more time to add a few more things. But I thought, in general, it will probably explain what. It's all the shlokas only. I'm not doing anything on my own. If you study the shlokas, you will understand all this. There are a few other points.
This doubt.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sorry, Prabhu. This doubt, misapprehension, correct apprehension, memory, and sleep. I think this memory, doubt, and sleep. I always thought these are more related to mind, but
no,
I always say I have a doubt in my mind. Memory is connected to mind again. And
yeah, the doubt is because of doubt is because of intelligence, Prabhu. The thing is, we don't have to differentiate between mind and intelligence too much. Both are kind of 2 different sides of the same coin, you can call it as. You see, one is the acting from the heart, another is acting from the head. So when it is acting from the heart, because it is naturally coming, mind just doesn't care. From Manovriti Niridhyacha, Krishna says, pure mind is actually, it's in the mode of goodness, right? So what happens is, you don't care whether somebody is good or not. You like them, you just like them, that's all. Right? You want to serve them, you just serve them. But intelligence is what tells, oh, first of all, determine whether that person is good or not. We would be, you please see whether he's right or wrong person. He may be wrong, he may be right. He says, it seems like he's telling the truth, but he's not. I doubt that he's not speaking the truth. These kind of things are coming from our intelligence. But if you see, heart just naturally loves, naturally goes on this thing. You will hate somebody for no reason. They will not do any harm to you, but still you will hate that person, right? So that's how the heart works. So that's why goodness is like that. The mode of goodness is that it will naturally exhibit its thing. It will not think before exhibiting its likes or dislikes or whatever, right? So mother's love is natural. They don't care for whatever other things we say, no? So that's why mind is always considered as the mode of manifesting the mode of goodness.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
The rest of the things, I have few more points, but it's time up already. So we'll discuss that, Krishna willing, next session, next week or whatever time. Oh, any other questions, comments before we close for this one? Lot more shlokas to cover actually. I just need some more time to put them in a pictorial representation, and maybe Krishna willing, if I'm able to complete it before next week, we will cover that also. Sajan Prabhu, I will share all of them, Prabhu. Don't worry. You can use it for any. You can even take a topic on material modes, fundamentals of material nature, and explain the whole thing this way. There are some points to be done. Thank you. I'll share all of this. Okay, so no other questions. We'll try to cover the. Actually, Sadashiv Prabhu, you asked me to take only from verse number 50, but I thought this chapter is very important, so that I covered from the beginning itself, to especially the question that is asked by Devahuti Mata. So that question about Krishna and his energies. Please tell me the characteristics of Krishna and his energies. That's the question of Devahuti Mata, and the rest of the entire chapter is an answer to that question. So I just wanted to bring it all the things together so that it will be useful instead of only covering particular portion. So the rest of the things which you said, that also will be covered similar way, Krishna willing, Prabhu. And we will finally talk about the purpose and the reason why this chapter, purpose of this chapter and the reason. Krishna willing. Thank you, Prabhu Mataji. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity. Because of you all, I could spend some little time studying this chapter a little bit more carefully.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It was very interesting.
Let's see what Maharaj inspires. I waste a lot of time, so I waste all the good times, and then I sit like a demon in the night and do all these things. If I had spent a good time, I would have completed all the rest of the things also, and we could have completed all of them in one session maybe, or something. But anyway, Krishna wants it certain way, so utilizing us in whatever way is good. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu.